The trade deadline has come and gone. Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Dylan Mel, John Pauline, had to get out the most important statement of the day. The trade deadline is over. Next step, playoff baseball. All these teams on the brink are preparing for war in October. Some teams really stepped up to improve their chances. Others teams, you really question what was going on if they even remembered what today was. But let's start back. Last Wednesday, after our last show came out, there was a trade. A player who I didn't really think would get traded, a player I really like, the Rangers. They got Logan O'Hoppe and then also reliever Chase Silseth, say that 10 times fast, for Angel Arredondo from he goes to the Angels. I didn't expect O'Hoppe to be traded, and then if you flash forward to today, I didn't expect the Rangers, who kind of started off the trade deadline, to then turn around and try to be sellers.
You think the sweep by Houston impacted things?
It would have had to, but
it felt like to me it impacted from a standpoint of let's pump the brakes on going all in the sense of the Texas Rangers. I think they were like, a catcher, position of value, O'Hoppe, going to be a fine player regardless. But then today they tried to sell. They tried to sell Jacob deGrom. He
used
declined.
His no trade clause.
He just said, nah, not going to happen. So a bit of an odd one there, for the Rangers. I guess they're just going to try and run with what they got and see if they could go on a run in October. The AL West kind of feels like 84 wins might be enough to win it at this point in time. They could get there, I guess. Any of those teams could get there. But yeah, weird deadline for the Rangers. And I don't mean to throw you off. How are we starting this off with a Logan O'Hoppe trade? I know you want to go chronologically, but we gotta hit the great white shark.
I mean, we will get to the Doval trade in due time.
I don't know if that's what he was talking about.
Oh, come on. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump to get from 729 to 81. It'll be here before you know it. You got to leave some anticipation. But I just feel like O'Hoppe starting it off and then the Rangers looking to sell. I wonder how that impacts their plans this offseason. Because if you're willing to sell anybody at this deadline, are you willing to trade them again in December? And how that kind of shapes what their offseason plans are. Are they willing to just go full rebuild? Because it feels like they just got out of one.
If I had to guess, their offseason in a normal offseason would be shaped by the next 2 months. However, elephant standing in the room of Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers, I don't think we're going to have necessarily a normal offseason.
No, or a normal season next year connected to that abnormal offseason.
We'll see what
season at all.
We'll see what salary level restrictions may be coming, but I don't think it'll be quite as easy for the Rangers to move off of some of their contracts. So I think they might just kind of be who they are.
Now let's go Thursday, 7:30. Twins, it's a big one. They get A.J. Minter. The Mets, they get a couple prospects. Baltimore, they get Jake Rogers. We'll hear his name coming up in a little bit. He is received from Detroit. That's kind of it for that.
Yeah.
Then you go to Friday. Another not so notable deal, but you're starting to see the ball rolling. The big one, Dean Kramer, goes from Baltimore to Minnesota. But we're still waiting for that big shoe to drop. And that big shoe does drop on Saturday, August 1st. Luis Castillo goes to the White Sox. The White Sox are buyers. The AL Central, their leader gets stronger. Seranthony Dominguez, who went to the White Sox to learn how to win, goes from first to not first in Seattle. He just can't catch a break. I clowned on him a lot.
I mean, he was spitting with that quote. We didn't think he was, but
Yeah.
He knew something.
I'll say this. I'm expecting the White Sox to start losing games without Sir Anthony Dominguez's culture in that clubhouse.
And the
Because
Mariners
clearly he knew what he was talking about.
Maybe the Mariners start to win that division.
I mean, it's anybody's race. Well, not
Honestly,
anybody.
I think
Not
that-
anybody, but it's any of those top
Yes.
teams' race.
No,
the
but
Angels are
American
not
League's pretty
involved.
open.
Nolan
American
Jones
League-
also goes to Seattle, as well as Boston Smith, a catcher.
Yep.
Luis Castillo on the older side, but he's still a very good pitcher. I half expected Seattle to move him. They do have some really, really young talent coming up.
They
Taking
had
up
too
the-
many starting pitchers.
Yeah.
They had too many. They were running games where they were 3 innings apiece with their starting pitchers because they just didn't have enough spots in a rotation for them. Castillo was the guy that made sense to move. If you're the White Sox, not the super high price, but a veteran pitcher that, hey, all of a sudden in a wide open AL,
Yeah.
maybe he could give you some good playoff baseball. I
And we
mean, that's
talked
what
last
they're
week.
thinking.
Right, we talked last week about how a veteran presence in that locker room would do them a lot of good.
Yep.
Anything else happen on Saturday? 8-1? I don't know.
The big one.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Tarek Skubal to the Dodgers for Zahir Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. Felt like a really, really, really light package to get Skubal, especially when you hear what they asked for from other teams. It was like their top prospect plus more, and the Dodgers didn't have to give up their top prospect or their second best or their third best. So it just seems a little fishy to me how these deals keep getting done, and the players in the league really need to start kind of clowning the other guys for what they do.
Well,
No.
when you say the players clowning the other guys, you mean clowning Skubal?
If Skubal chooses to resign there, they should probably get into his ear. I feel like there has to be some collusion going on behind closed doors with the owners.
I
They
guess
want
that's a pretty
salary
loaded.
cap.
It's a pretty loaded statement you have there. So I guess
Yeah.
I'll address it piece by piece. On the player standpoint, Tarek Skubal obviously wasn't involved in this. I'm sure the Tigers asked him like, "Hey, how would you like playing for the Dodgers?" And I'm sure he was like, "Cool by me, I suppose." And
Not this
you
part,
meant-
but I meant if he resigns there, then
I disagree again. Just because I think you're there, they traded for you. If he re-ups with the team that traded for him, that I'm sure over the next 2 months he's going to really enjoy playing for, and I'm sure it's not all but done. But if he wins a World Series with them, I wouldn't blame the guy for not going, nah, I'm out of here. Like, if he's like, LA, best pitcher on the Dodgers, we just won the World Series. I was just on the Tigers. We never won anything. Now all of a sudden I got Ohtani on this team, Yamamoto, Freeman. I'm staying. I mean, I wouldn't blame the guy for that. At the end of the day, is it a little fishy that the Tigers sent him there? We could have that conversation.
I want to have that conversation.
Yeah,
because
considering
But
the
I
other
wanna
packages
clarify-
I've heard.
I want to clarify my standpoint on I don't blame Skubal at all for the trade,
of course not.
and I won't blame Skubal either for staying with this team. This isn't he wrote out his contract with the Tigers, the Dodgers three-peated, and then he said, come on down. This is a team that traded for him with the idea of getting him in the building and getting him in the environment to get him to like it. Not far off from what the Yankees did with Juan Soto a couple of years ago. If the Yankees had traded for Juan Soto and then won the World Series and then he re-signed, nobody would have been killing him. So I'm not going to kill Skubal for getting traded to a great team because a great team wanted him because he's an elite player.
Fine.
And then if he has success, not one like if they win the World Series, I get it, the fan and you would want Skubal somewhere else. But logically, why on earth would he go, I'm glad I won the World Series here. You know what I'd like to do? I'd actually like to go and play for the Los Angeles Angels. Let's go back to mediocrity.
I mean, I was thinking more in line of other teams that need starting pitching that'll spend like the Phillies.
I guess so, but what about what could an organization do to look more appealing to him than the Dodgers?
Nothing.
So
here, let me explain it this way. It's a honeypot. The Dodgers are making it, and this goes back to my collusion point, they're making it so these players, now you can't really fault the players for it, where they want to go, where they'll win and make a lot of money. But the fact that the Tigers are asking the top prospect for every team but the Dodgers, and then you send them to the Dodgers, where you've created now, the league has created this environment of winning and success and money. Now that he'll want to stay there, the fans will look at that and demand a salary cap so the Dodgers can't get their way. And that's the owners getting their way. So they're using players like Skubal as a pawn, and they need to be smart enough to not fall for the tricks.
Because I think this is very fair. I think this part of it is very fair, that the Detroit Tigers organization looked around baseball, said, Dodgers, Cubs, Phillies, Yankees, Mets,
I heard the Phillies
Red
offered
Sox,
Gage Wood and Crawford.
These teams will spend more money than we'll spend. How can we put a stop to that? Salary caps being floated around. Let's do what works for our best interest for the future. And everybody will say, your favorite team could have traded for this guy. That's true. The fact that you had to, but the fact that the Phillies would have had to have traded Andrew Painter and or Aiden Miller on top of
Gage
Crawford.
Wood and Crawford, and then another prospect.
And then Gage Wood and Crawford trade was a better.
It was a better
than
deal.
What they got
Dodgers,
from the Dodgers.
Is what I'm saying, and they took the Dodgers trade over the Phillies offer,
but not enough. So I'm saying the Phillies would have had a drastically better offer in terms of one of Painter or Miller, clearly, or the Yankees would have had to have thrown a Lombard in there. I mean, the asking price last January from the Tigers, from the Yankees, was Schlittler and Ben Rice. Now, obviously, I don't think anybody knew where it was going to go, but my point being, the Tigers, I believe, operated in semi-bad faith here for the league, because I don't know how many owners this is bad faith to, because how many of these owners want a salary cap?
All of them. It's in bad faith to the future of baseball and bad faith to the fans.
Yeah, I think the fans are going to pay the most for this, because I've also heard, your favorite team can sign players the way that the Dodgers can. It's true in some senses. I don't think any team in baseball can continuously sign them the way that the Dodgers can. I get it. Yankees are $1 billion team. Mets have a billionaire owner. Phillies are probably $1 billion team.
They are.
But what do the Yankees, Mets, and Phillies have in common that the Dodgers don't?
The Dodgers operate under those
less billionaire owners.
No, they operate under special rules.
Revenue sharing and the special privilege that the Dodgers were afforded when they declared bankruptcy that runs for another few years, where they don't have to pay into the revenue share. So they get an extra $60 to $80 million
ownership group.
Well,
they
get
an ownership group.
Right, but they get an extra $60 to $80 million that they can use that no other team gets, because they all have to put their TV and media rights money in a pot and then shell it out, where the Dodgers don't have to put any of that money in. They get to keep all the money they make. So the better the Dodgers do and the more players they sign, the better ratings, the more money they make that they don't have to share, while teams like the Mets and the Yankees and the Phillies and the Red Sox, who they do have all this money that they can spend, they're still at a disadvantage to the Dodgers, because they have to now share that money with the Nationals, the Rays, the Cardinals.
No, so I think it's a fair point.
The same position. So it's not a one-to-one comparison saying, just because you're a Yankee fan, your team can sign it just like the Dodgers. No, We can't spend a $700 million contract and then defer $690 million of it, because you need to have that cash on hand in order to defer it. And so because the Dodgers can get all this extra money, let's call it $60 million a year, even though it's most likely more than that.
And they also have extra money to begin with having
Right.
ownership group with multiple billionaires in it. I mean, again, was the package received back a bad one? No. They got Hope, the number 25 prospect in Major League Baseball, Ryan, number 68 prospect. Like, that is a decent haul for a guy who's on an expiring deal. But
we're going to talk about it later, but
I think there was better offers.
But
at least the Phillies offer was
Adley
better.
Rutschman clears this package. And Adley Rutschman is nowhere near the player of Tarek Skubal.
Extra control, prime position but the market was also pushed up. I mean, listen, obviously I share some of your disappointment. I just don't want it to be viewed as the Dodgers traded, a bench player for Tarek Skubal and hit four straight on MLB The Show. Like, that's not what happened.
What they're asking for in order to not send him to the Dodgers, that's operating in bad faith. Oh, you need to really beat the Dodgers offer if you want it. I know you're not in my division. I know you're not in my league when talking about the Phillies, but you're still needing to blow the Dodgers out, not just beat them.
I mean, the Cubs had a competitive offer out there too.
Right. So the fact that you needed to blow what the Dodgers gave, and everybody agrees that it was a very underwhelming package, and the fact that you did it on Saturday and not waiting till Monday when you could have got teams into a bidding war, that's another issue. Why are we not waiting till Monday, closer to the deadline, get teams a little bit more anxious? Why are we just taking the first deal? That deal the Dodgers sent, that would not have evaporated. If it did evaporate, then the Dodgers were never serious about trading for him in the first place, because you could have gotten...
That deal wasn't going anywhere.
No, it wasn't. So you would have gotten other teams who needed pitching. They would have been in on it. The price would have been driven up. Maybe the Phillies did make that Godfather offer because they desperately needed a starting pitcher, and Skubal is by far the best one available. Maybe you could have gotten a Painter in that or changed the deal somehow to make it better, but you didn't want to wait and see. And that's also why I think they operated in really bad faith. And I think that's why people kind of need to realize that this isn't an isolated incident. This isn't we need to stop the Dodgers by a salary cap, because that isn't going to change. This is the owners colluding against the fans in the best interest of the sport by saying, hey, we know the fans.
Well, not just the fans, but the players, by the way. Yeah. Well, because once there's a cap, then all of a sudden certain players that used to demand more money on the market just aren't going to. Right. If there was a $300 million cap, do you think Bo Bichette gets $60 million a year? Not a chance. Not a chance.
Of that.
Not a chance. Like, nobody's paying that. These guys, Freddie Peralta, the Mets signed, traded for him, but like these guys on like these 1 year $30 million deals, it's not happening.
Do we think Pete Alonso's getting $150?
No. So that's the fans should be upset, because I believe now, as a result of this trade, most likely, no matter what happens in October, or no matter who wins the World Series, if Skubal is re-upped by the Dodgers, which, by the way, the Dodgers should try to do before a salary cap is in place, they should try and extend him whenever they can. I think that we're at least getting a shortened season next year. Yep. I wouldn't be shocked if we got no season next year. And if you're a player, especially somebody who hasn't gotten paid yet, a Ben Rice, a Cam Schlittler, I'm just thinking of Yankees there, but other guys around the league who it's almost time for my big contract. Well, that big contract might be smaller than you thought.
So you should,
because I don't know if there's ever, I mean, if the salary cap's $300 million, $350 million, Juan Soto, that might be the biggest contract in MLB history. End. Yep. Like, the end. I don't if there was a cap, would the Mets have paid him that?
No. Is a guy like Vladdy, who hasn't hit a home run at home this season, going to get the contract he did?
Exactly. And then it's just how do you grandfather these things in? And all these questions that we've circled around for months. Now I think they're gonna have to iron out the answers, because I think we're gonna get a floor. We're gonna get at least probably a soft cap. Maybe there'll be some version of the way that the NBA has it, where what is it? You cross over certain levels and you pay extra money in taxes. Aprons, they have aprons so if the cap was 300 million and the Dodgers spent 330, the Dodgers have to pay an extra 30 to the league as a form of a tax for being over that apron. And then certain trades, you have to move certain salaries a certain way. The NBA has made it so it's very hard to do things like this because teams were stacking the deck.
I either go full strict cap or just don't do it. Stop making it stupid and complicated.
I think it's going to be impossible to just bottom line inflict a hard cap.
Caps are bad.
I hear what you're saying.
I know, but I think with this trade,
we just saw why there's going to be one.
And that's why I'm saying this is the owners colluding. It is evidence. Like, if this was in courtroom, this would be almost like a smoking gun, because you have a team taking a lesser package, moving a player at an inoptimal time.
Well,
to get people.
I disagree there. I think it was the right time for them to move him.
No, Monday was the right time, not Saturday.
Oh, okay. Monday. I thought you meant like just at all at the deadline.
No. Moving it Monday, waiting those extra 2 days when historically the market heats up more, where you have teams who get a little more anxious. You don't make these moves 2 days before. You wait it out, especially for a package that wouldn't be gone.
Are you more mad at the Tigers or the Dodgers? I mean, if you're the Dodgers, what do you do?
If
you know that they're going to take a lesser package, and you know that
you have to offer it.
And by the way, Tarek Skubal stays on the Tigers, goes somewhere else. The Dodgers win the World Series this year. The Dodgers probably know we're headed towards these conversations and potential lockout anyways. Yes. It was already being talked about. So if you're the Dodgers, you say, F it, let's get this three-peat. So I want to clarify here my standpoint on this. While I think the Dodgers have created such a great team that it's creating a bad situation for the fans and players when this cap gets talked about and a lockout inevitably happens, I don't necessarily blame them. If I was them, I wouldn't operate any differently. If you told me I'm not a Dodgers fan, I like the Yankees, but if you told me, hey, Dylan, as a Yankees fan, a couple seasons ago, the Yankees could have gotten Shohei Ohtani, and then they would have gotten Yamamoto, and then they would have gotten Freddie Freeman, and they would have gotten Kyle Tucker, and then this deadline, they would have gotten Tarek Skubal. I wouldn't have told you, no, too much.
No, you're right.
Too much, not good for baseball. I'd been like, yeah.
We're also overlooking. It's almost like a magic trick, right? The Dodgers are dangling shiny keys in front of you. Meanwhile, they're pickpocketing you when you're not looking, because we're all looking at, how much money they're paying these guys and getting all these players. Why can they afford it? Deferred money, deferred contracts. Take that away. The Dodgers can't pull off what they're doing.
I mean, it's one.
They're not signing Yamamoto and Ohtani.
Listen, as an Eagles fan, I plead the fifth on this one.
The Eagles are just as guilty.
Yeah. I mean, as an Eagles fan, I plead the fifth on deferred money. If it's allowed, it's allowed.
Deferred money in sports should be illegal, period. Because if they're paying a player money, pay him that money this year. Don't say, I'm going to pay you in 7 years. I'm not. Yeah. So
Bobby Bonilla Day is a national holiday.
Yes. But let's forget about Bobby Bonilla Day for a second, because it will be Shohei Ohtani Day. Remember when we talked about how Shohei Ohtani's not making much actual money per year when we broke down his contract?
So that to the advertisements he has. I mean, Ohtani's contract from an Ohtani perspective is fantastic.
Oh, it's fantastic.
While he's playing, he generates all this ad money, and then when he retires, he's got a bunch of money coming in from when he was playing.
And I don't think he has to pay the taxes from California too, correct? Because he'll be in most likely somewhere
that's
else.
Also true.
Yeah. So
man, whoever his agent is did a really good job. That translator probably helped a ton too.
I mean, so it sounds like it's a win for the team, a win for the player, but making it more difficult for every other team because now the
I don't
Dodgers
think
have
you're going to get rid of this deferred money. I think that's
That's
going to
the
be the
real issue.
workaround
I
for the salary
think
cap.
they need to do something about the deferred
But it-
money though, because they have $1.1 billion in deferred money. I mean, that
Right.
is insane in con. That's
that's the
insane.
issue. Maybe have a cap of deferred money, how much money you can defer. That'll solve this issue
Won't
more
happen.
than having an actual
Won't happen.
cap in the league.
Won't happen.
The deferred money is the true issue.
I mean,
That's
the thing with a cap is just like in the NFL, you defer the money, eventually it'll be a cap hit.
but also the
like
cap
for
goes
example,
up in the NFL.
for example, though, the Eagles just paid Jalen Carter. You want to know what his cap hit is next year? It went down $17 million. You want to know what his cap hit in 2030?
Piper?
You want to know what his cap hit is in 2032? $68 million.
And what happens when the Eagles add void years and then the cap
that
goes
is
up
the
another,
void year.
Yes, and what happens when the cap goes up another $100 million?
I hear what you're saying.
I'm just that.
What I'm saying is salary cap, like the deferred money contracts aren't going away in any sports.
And that's the big issue. They should, and that's why if you take that away from the Dodgers, they're not able to pay Skubal. They're not able to pay Kyle Tucker.
I don't have a problem with the deferred money.
Of course you don't.
What about the special rules they have that lets them spend all this money from stopping going because they were going bankrupt?
I'll say
so
that
like,
I can't believe that hasn't been revisited.
Yeah, because like
I
now
know
they're
like
just
there was a
spending money
ruling on it, but like you can't be like, hey, now you guys make the most TV money,
right?
Yeah,
but
so that compared to the ability to defer payment, the TV money, that is why the Dodgers are able to operate like they are, and why no other team can.
So we all agree from a behind the scenes standpoint, this trade probably ruined baseball for next season.
Yes, but not in the way people think.
For this season.
Well, I think
if
the Dodgers win the World Series, I think there's no baseball next year, like 100%. Like it's not happening.
I don't think it matters if the Dodgers win the World Series or not.
I think if they do, especially, like I think it's locked in. I think if they
I think if they don't win it, I think that it'll be a shortened season. But I don't think it'll be completely cooked. For this season, the Dodgers, what do you guys? I don't know if anybody's looked at it. What do you guys think their odds are to win the World Series now?
90%. Like,
no.
90 plus. Oh, not 90%. It's not chances. Odds. No clue. I haven't looked back at
plus 145 at this point.
Plus 160.
Damn.
To put that in perspective for just in general, plus 160. That is more likely than the Nationals beating the Phillies tomorrow. According to the books, it's more likely the Dodgers win the World Series than the Nationals beat the Phillies tomorrow. It's also more likely that the Dodgers win the World Series than the Cubs beat the Dodgers tomorrow for Tarek Skubal's debut with the team.
I mean, it's just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. I mean, from a baseball perspective, I would say this. If the Dodgers weren't clearly already a tier above every other team, this just cements them as clearly in their own tier. And there might be a tier in the middle. Like it might be Dodgers, nobody, let's talk.
Don't forget they got Chris Bubik too.
Yeah.
On top of
because they needed another. Yeah, he's going to go there and be lights out.
Yeah.
Because they needed another starting pitcher after getting Skubal. But, good for Dodgers fans. Congrats if you're still watching and you didn't already comment that this podcast absolutely sucks. And your team, hey, I wish it was my team. Yeah, I wish it was my team that did all this stuff.
Dodger fans are living every fan's dream. It's not the fans' fault.
If my team did all this, I'd be insufferable. So I'd be saying, your team sucks. My team's awesome. Get bent.
Yeah, and it's the Dodgers are doing what's allowed within the rules. So it's not like they're they're just taking full advantage of their situation. So it just happens to be not great for the sport of baseball.
And I know baseball is a game of run. Like any team can get hot at the right time, yada yada. If this team's healthy, I think it's over. I just think there's no chance. And I know that sounds like butthurt. I promise you, it's like not me being butthurt. It's just like I think in all reality, like you look at their team, they are going. The Pirates might make the playoffs, but I think in all reality, the Dodgers have the best starting pitcher in baseball. I think the Dodgers. I think they have the second best number 2 in Yamamoto. We get to number 3. Maybe it's worth a conversation of like Garrett Cole versus Blake Snell. Fine. They have a top 3 closer in baseball in Edwin Diaz and the top lineup in baseball healthy. So there's just not really a weakness on the team. And like it just feels over. Like that's my reality of it as a base. Like it feels that I haven't felt this way since like 2018 basketball, the year after Kevin Durant and the Warriors won their first title, where no team really caught up, and it was like LeBron, Kyle Korver, and Richard Jefferson versus like those guys, and you were just like, oh, like we're just playing this for this team to have fun this year. Like that's what the next 2 months feel like. As long as the Dodgers stay healthy, game over.
So some other moves did happen, though. Sunday, 8-2. Kevin Gausman goes from the Blue Jays to the Cubs. The Rays, they get Freddie Peralta from the Mets. The Yankees get Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nationals. So let's talk Yankees. They get Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nationals.
A massive need.
Giovanni Cruz, Jake Bird, Jack Turbett, and Ben Grable go from the Yankees to Washington. The Yankees coming into the deadline. Dylan, tell me when I'm wrong. They needed outfielder. They needed a catcher. They needed a third baseman, a shortstop.
I don't really think they needed an outfielder, if I'm being honest.
But they needed an outfielder more than they needed a first baseman DH.
No, I'd
the
say
one position that we were kind of locked down on with Ben Rice and Goldschmidt.
I listen. In the general vacuum of the trade, am I mad at it? No. They gave up like a decent relief pitcher, a terrible relief pitcher, just got sent the money-wise in the deal. And I think Luis Garcia, one of the better swings in baseball, a high-power guy.
Led the NL in slugging this year.
I have real doubts about the health of Giancarlo Stanton. I don't know if you've ever seen even more quotes came out today where Aaron Boone was like, oh, it's great to see him out there running around and happy. And like they made it sound like this dude just recovered from some life-threatening illness. Oh, it's great to see him outside and happy.
He's got the sun on his skin again.
I saw somebody said they just made it sound like he recovered from polio. So my general thought is I'm not banking on Stanton to be playing Yankees baseball this season. And at the end of the day, versus righty pitchers, Garcia is going to be in the lineup. And even in a loss tonight, we saw it, is going to produce. And he's a better defensive first baseman metrics-wise than Ben Rice. So, again, to me, when this move was made, I thought, odd one, but makes sense. There's some control there, too. Goldschmidt's probably gone after this year, so you have your first baseman room.
You have a year and a half of control this year, and then he's a free agent after next season, Garcia.
2 pop guys. So, to me, the deal made sense. And if you are desperately in a pinch, I know they said that they wouldn't do it, but you could start Ben Rice at catcher, play Garcia at first, and DH Goldschmidt, or so I'm just saying, if Austin Wells gets so bad, we'll talk about it, but they didn't do anything at catcher, so that might have to happen now. But in the vacuum, I thought smart move, didn't mind what they gave up. I think his bat plays well at Yankee Stadium.
You can make this work. I like the trade in the sense that he's a good player. He brings you righty power, which you needed.
And I liked it in the moment, too, because they didn't give up anything that I thought would need to be involved in another trade.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah. Again, this trade was a good one.
This one I didn't think would stop.
Not a need. No,
a nice to have.
A good trade.
Another move the Yankees made. This one was today at the deadline. Heliot Ramos from the Giants. They sent away Henry Lillane, who I really like, but he was a Rule 5 eligible player. And then also Caden Kent, son of Giants legend Jeff Kent. And this is what I think threw it over the top for me to not like the trade, because I think you gave up way too much for a player who doesn't fill any need you have. And
this
also
move made me think another move was coming.
That partially, but also Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez.
Right.
They're your corners. They're both playing relatively well.
I thought one of them was when the Heliot Ramos trade came through, I thought, okay, whatever they had to do to get a catcher involved Spencer Jones or Jason Dominguez. And one of them is going to go, sucks to see, but they're making a move for a catcher. That's what I assumed when this Ramos trade came out. And now I'm unfortunately under the assumption, oh, they're not confident Aaron Judge is playing baseball this year. Because if you were, then I don't understand what the hell they're doing. Because the way I look at it, Judge and right, Bellinger in left, probably Trent in center. And then you have Jones, Dominguez, Ramos.
Who's the odd man out?
3 of them are out of a playoff rotation. Like 3 of Heliot Ramos in the Yankees' best case scenario does not play in the playoffs. And again, I don't know what the prices on guys were. I wasn't Brian Cashman today. But at the end of the day, nothing was done to take Volpe / Caballero, McMahon, or Wells out of your playoff lineup. And McMahon has solid defense. Cappy's got nice speed. I'd prefer him as a bench piece, an all-utility guy off the bench that pinch runs and can stay in the game. But those 3 guys at the bottom of your order, you're just giving 3 outs away. And I know they all homered tonight. I understand that the full moon juiced baseball gods were in New York because
Ryan Ruocco was on the call. You knew something crazy was going to happen.
So, you can miss me with what happened tonight. We've watched enough baseball to know that these guys are not good playoff pieces.
Right.
And then when you look at what the Dodgers did, you can't afford 1 hiccup in your lineup. The Yankees have 3. And the AL's open. So once you get to the big dance, you can't say never. You know, the Knicks won a title this year, and everybody picked San Antonio. So I'm not going to say that if the Yankees made the World Series, they couldn't get it done, because who knows what injuries happen along the way. Who knows how teams look like. And at the end of the day, you do have Schlittler, Fried, Cole, Rodon coming back. If you have Aaron Judge in the lineup, you got a shot. But I expected, or at least I hoped, the Yankees would treat this deadline as, let's make sure we're the top team in the AL.
Right.
And let's make sure that when we match up with the Dodgers, we could at least look the way Toronto looked last year. And I don't think either of those happened.
No. The Yankees did also trade away Camilo Doval to the Pirates. Those were the 3 moves the Yankees
addition
made.
By subtraction.
It feels to me that the Yankees' plan for this deadline was go get Mason Miller, go get Ryan Jeffers. Neither one of them got traded.
I don't understand how this team didn't even get a backup catcher.
Herrera from the Cardinals that the Yankees just played today was very available. Tyler Stevenson,
who you mentioned to me. I said I didn't I wanted better. I didn't want nothing. Austin Wells has sucked this year. Just flatly. He's a good defender. He's been nothing offensively. It's like defeating to watch what happened. And Cashman's in a contract year, man. So,
yeah, I mean, Cashman's in a contract year. He's going to get extended. He's been the GM my whole life.
Yeah, I hear
you. Not been alive for Yankee baseball without
listen,
Brian Cashman at GM.
And listen, Cashman is not the worst GM in sports by any means. So
no, he's not.
I'm not saying like they have to get rid of him. I'm just saying in a contract year, this is what you do at the deadline.
Exactly.
It wasn't enough.
No, it reminds me of the Kenyon Middleton trade deadline where the Yankees made the one move.
Again, I don't know what the asking price on certain guys was. And we'll talk about the Rutschman deal. The Red Sox paid a lot.
And the Yankees also reportedly balked on the medicals.
Yeah, again, listen, I'm not saying that I wanted the Yankees to pay a George Lombard price for Adley Rutschman. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying there has to have been a catcher you could have gotten for the cheap out there, whether just go get a Stevenson to play versus lefties or something. The left side of the infield is a black hole. I mean, I don't know who was available. Nolan Arenado couldn't have been that pricey. Just something to get me off my seat and go, that might not be a zero in the postseason. Ryan McMahon, Anthony Volpe, Austin Wells, 0-0-0 in the playoffs. That's the way. And by the way, you're going to get a pitcher rolling with those guys. The pitcher is going to build up so much confidence once he makes it through those guys that he's going to get back to the top of the lineup and be feeling himself.
Yeah.
So, listen, the Yankees besides tonight, over the last week, it felt like we're winning every game 2-1. Maybe they could do that throughout the AL playoffs because I still think when healthy, this is the best team in the AL, but they did let other teams close the gap.
But how likely is healthy going to be?
I guess when I say healthy, I mean all four starters and Aaron Judge.
Right, and based on this trade deadline, that doesn't seem like the Yankees are feeling like that's in the books.
The Elliot Ramos deal did worry me, and Jack Curry, yes, just reporting right now. George Lombard Jr. called up. So
nice. Great.
I guess that's the answer at third or short.
I mean, hate it because
listen. It might be. It might not be nothing. He can't be worse than what they got.
So here, answer yes or no. If Aaron Judge is out for this season, are the Yankees?
It doesn't matter. No.
So if the Yankees feel that Judge isn't coming back this year, they should have sold.
Who?
I'm sure you could have moved expiring contracts. You could have
Trent.
You could have moved Trent.
Sure.
McMahon.
You think they could have?
I think somebody would have.
Who's buying? Who is buying Ryan McMahon right now?
I don't know. I wouldn't have told you that the Pirates would have been buyers, but they were.
Duvall was risk-free.
No, Luke Weaver giving up actual prospects.
Yeah, but that wasn't from the Yankees.
No, but in general, teams were buying and like the Blue Jays bought.
Here's what I'll say. I think the Yankees have no idea if Aaron Judge is coming. I think the Yankees I think the Yankees don't know if Judge is coming back. So selling would have been stupid because if he comes back, you are the best team in the AL. But if he doesn't come back and you buy and sell the best players, prospects, and he doesn't come back, it was a waste. So I empathize with Cashman somewhat in that spot. If you don't know if Aaron Judge is coming back this year, it puts you in a really difficult position where trading for guys that are only for this year doesn't make sense. That's why the Garcia trade I really like. The Ramos trade, even without Judge, still doesn't make sense to me because if you're not going to have Judge, why would you play him over the young guys? If you are going to have Judge, he's never going to play. So
no,
that's just a pinch hit, like righty bat. That's
you
all.
said Lombard's coming up, right?
Correct. It was just announced.
Let's look at it this way also at Lombard. We think that there's either going to be a shortened or no season next year, correct?
Yeah, that's the vibes.
How important is Lombard's development to you?
I mean, to me, or I think it matters. Yeah.
To you?
Yeah, I think he's probably the starting third baseman next year if he could play the position.
The fact that we called him up, he's on our 40-man.
I think this is the same disagreement we had a couple of years ago, though, with Dominguez.
If there's a lockout, he can't play in minor ball next year. He's going to lose time playing. He's going to lose development time. I just feel like the risk reward, unless the Yankees think he is going to be a Cespedes-like game changer for them, I just don't think it's prudent to bring him up and risk hurting him in the long term and then thereby hurting the franchise long term. If I said we have baseball next year, just bring him up in April or May.
I mean, maybe they have the vibe that we're going to have baseball next year. I don't like.
Do you understand what I'm saying, though?
I understand what you're saying. I just think
to me, it feels like they're throwing the fans a bone because the fans are mad and they think it'll distract them from the.
I don't think they're throwing the fans a bone. I think they're looking for a spark on the left side of the infield, which is needed. And I think that
does one player play third or short when he comes up?
Probably both.
No, but like, if he had to play one more than the other, is he your shortstop or is he your third baseman?
I would say he's short.
See, I would think third.
If it was up to me, he would be short.
Yes, up to me, he'd be short. I think
is that not what you just asked me?
No. What do you think he's going to play?
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna put him next to Volpe and try and sell it as the infield of the future.
Oh, that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but we'll see. Listen, I'll say this: I'm excited to see what we got in him.
I think I'm more disappointed that Luis Garcia, I believe, is 26, and I could have sworn they saved 26 for Lombard when he came up.
Yeah, I don't know what number he's going to be.
97.
We'll see. This is the first time in a long time that I've started thinking about the Yankees as what's the future look like,
right? And
that isn't where I wanted to be with Aaron Judge at 33 years old. But Schlittler, Ben Rice, Luis Garcia, Dominguez, Jones, both been playing well. Lombard, not the worst spot to be.
So some other trades. We have today, the big one. Red Sox get Adley Rutschman from the Orioles. The Sox get Rutschman and Jake Rogers, who just the other day on Thursday was flipped from Detroit to Baltimore. Now he goes to Boston. Rutschman, Rogers, cash to Boston. Baltimore gets right-hander Anthony Iacin, the Red Sox number 2, MLB's number 49 prospect. They get Kyson Witherspoon, the Red Sox number 4. They get Andy Azakar, the Red Sox number 5. Carlos Narvaez, the catcher, and a player to be named later. This was a haul and a half. I think almost no matter what, the Red Sox, at least as of today, are losers in this trade because you traded all of that for a guy on the injured list. Now, if Adley comes out next year, this year, leads the Red Sox to a World Series, plays great, extended, then obviously it works out. But the way you can't look at that, though. Right now, the way it is, you gave up a lot for a guy who's been on the injured list 3 times. The medical scared you, wrist issues. You gave up 3 of your top 5 prospects, including a top 50 MLB prospect, after trading away Connor Lee early, who his replacement was supposed to be Iacin. I know some Red Sox fans that I'm friends with, I was talking to, I was actually with one when this trade came down. They are not thrilled.
You know what trade didn't thrill me the most was giving up on Marcelo Mayer.
Yeah, that too. I was very surprised they did that. They called it off early on him.
So I guess I'll ask you this because we're just kind of in unison. Would you have rather had the Red Sox deadline or the Yankees deadline? Because the Red Sox were very active, but you can also be critical of some of the young talent they gave away, trying to push in chips on this year.
So I guess
at least they're playing for this year.
Yes. I think in a vacuum, in this bubble, I would probably rather the Yankees than the Red Sox, because I would not give up what the Red Sox gave up for Rutschman. So if we're talking about equivalent packages back and forth,
yeah,
I wouldn't have wanted to do that type of trade. I would have been annoyed. I would have been upset. And then to top it off, let's equate Marcelo Meyer to Jason Dominguez.
You're right. This is why I think the Yankees didn't do anything. Like, that was kind of like, it just ties in there. But for Boston, I will say this. While I think we talked about the early trade about like a week ago. Obviously, you look at that trade in hindsight, and the guy broke his wrist. So it's hard to, like, you can't really judge it on those merits. But personally, Early was a guy that I thought was good. Pitching doesn't come around very often. I wouldn't have moved him, so be it. Marcelo Mayer for a relief pitcher. They had a crowded infield. So while I don't like it, I guess I get it. It would, like, similar to what you said, the Yankees have a crowded outfield. If they gave up one of Dominguez or Jones for a relief pitcher that they really believed in, I would have understood it. To me, at least Boston is in on this year. This team got so hot. They have won 5 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They had that massive win streak a couple weeks ago. They just swept the Dodgers. So betting on this team, I fully get, and I appreciate their efforts. If it doesn't work out in the next 2 years, I think you could eventually be looking at some of the guys that they moved on from and been like, man, would have been nice to have him.
But I mean,
but I also think it could. But I also think that if the playoffs started today, I'd pick Boston to go to the World Series because of how good they are playing.
I mean, they were so close to being sellers at this deadline from like going all in like they did. I think if they didn't get that win streak, they would not have given up the package they did for Rutschman.
You're right, John. They wouldn't have. But I think even with that win streak, they shouldn't have. I think they really bank the future on a guy who's gone down each year of his career. Again, a player I loved. I was on here last week saying I wanted him bad on the Yankees. I didn't want him this bad, and I think the risk outweighs the reward.
I still believe in a Rutschman.
I do too.
I think but they believe in him. Switch hitter, great defender. I think
how much of this though was the Yankees and Rays both being in on him and the Red Sox.
Well, that too. For starters, in division tax, then the tax to beat those other guys.
No, I think like that's why tax, like just because there was no out of division option.
No, there was in division tax. There was out of division option. Other teams traded for catchers.
No,
I mean, yeah. I'd have to look up all the moves, but
I don't think any other team really traded for a catcher out of the division.
I swear there were other catchers that were moved.
There was
the Marlins catcher who went to Tampa.
No, I know about Meade because I remember us texting about him. There was another catcher that was moved. I can't remember.
Hoppy a couple days ago.
Hoppy.
Yeah.
Obviously, that happened a few days ago. I'm looking through right now. I'll let you know if Dodgers got Ben Wartfoot. Dodgers could have got him, I suppose. Although they clearly just wanted a backup catcher. The White Sox got Joey Bart. So
we're not talking the same level.
I'm just like
right.
Other catchers were moved.
Bo Naylor.
Bo Naylor was moved to the Brewers.
None of these teams that we're naming, though, would have been in on an Adley Rutschman.
No.
I still think there's an in-division tax because I think the Orioles were like, we don't have to trade them. They didn't have. Why? They have another year of control. Do it again.
Another year of control, but if the Orioles get the vibe that there isn't going to be a season next year, this is the height of his value. They tried to extend him. He didn't want to stay. They have Basayo. They don't have a spot for him. He was supposed to be their future. he was supposed to save them, and he didn't. So really, if you didn't trade him now, you would have not destroyed, but you would have held on too long past his value. And if there was a lockout where you couldn't send him away in the offseason and there wasn't baseball next year, do you really want to risk foregoing, any type of return for him? So now I think was the time to sell him. If the only options were the Red Sox, Yankees, and Rays, the Red Sox clearly gave a package better than anybody was willing to. I just don't think there was a division tax because it was only division options. It was more, can you outbid the other guys in the division?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Again, though, I still agree with the move. You look at this team, they're going to get Crochet back. You have Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, Peyton Tolley. You got that for your playoff rotation. You got a Slayton and a Weissart as like your middle inning guys. Whitlock and a Chapman is still a very nice 8th to 9th inning. Rutschman and Connor Wong, Contreras, Durbin. You could get a Story back potentially. Duran, Rafaela, Abreu, Yoshida. It's a solid squad. And they're playing great baseball.
I think the Red Sox got better. To me, the Red Sox are a real threat to win this division, to win the AL. They have the experience.
Yep.
They kind of feel like the 2024 OMG Mets to me.
I mean, to
They're
me,
playing with very high vibes.
I mean, they remind me of the Red Sox team that beat the Yankees in that wild card series in which Cole was awful at Fenway.
Yeah, that too.
So, I mean, again, like I said, if the playoffs started today, I'd pick Boston to go to the World Series, which, by the way, I think I might have picked Boston to lose to the Dodgers in the World Series at the start of the year. Maybe that might have been last year.
Last year, we both had the Red Sox, I think, and Dodgers.
So let's see.
This year, I think I went back to Yankees, Dodgers.
I had the Dodgers.
This year, we had Dylan, you picked the Dodgers over the Yankees. John,
Last year was Dodgers over Red Sox.
John, you pitched Dodgers over Detroit. I picked Seattle over the Mets.
Eesh. Well, I guess I'm the closest.
Ben picked Boston over Atlanta.
Well, Ben's got a shot. I got a shot. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right.
John, you have half of a shot.
I'm half a shot. Corey, though.
Yeah. You know what? I'm the only one to pick Boston to win the division, though, so I think I should deserve a little bit of credit.
They're in third place. No credit given. This is like the Phillies with the run differential thing. As long as Boston's not in first place in the division, I'm not giving you credit.
I accept that. I think that's fair.
I'd also like to point out the Phillies run differential at this very moment is -1.
That's Philly. Let's talk Philly then.
Oh my.
They got Luis Arias and a reliever from San Fran. They sent away a couple players. And now they're shaking up their whole infield. This has the potential to propel the Phillies into like being the hottest team in baseball or completely derailing their season. There is no in between because the Phillies plan, you only have 9 guys on the field.
I can tell you grew up watching First Take, ESPN coded right there. There's no in between. There is an in between. They could be good, but not as good as the Dodgers, which is probably the most likely outcome, by the way.
But taking 4 of your, let's call it 8 starters because a pitcher is different every day, and shaking up where they are now in the field. Bryce Harper moving to right, Bohm moving to first, Stott to third, Arias to second. That could end up really working out well for the Phillies or just being an awful move.
I don't like it at all. I mean, first off, you're screwing Stott out of a Gold Glove again because he was, I think, absolutely going to win Gold Glove at second base this year, and you're moving him to third where he's barely played, inexperienced third baseman. You're moving Bohm to first, hasn't played first that often. I mean, Harper at least offered to go play the outfield before, so that's not a huge deal. But it's just like, I just feel like you made the infield weaker at every point there.
I think this was a great move.
I mean, I like the bat. I mean, it's the kind of bat they needed because they needed a guy that
let's say this.
On base. But I just don't like defensively. This is just not the way.
I don't think it's a problem defensively either. Defensively, Luis Ariz has been great at second this year. Obviously, Stott's like a potential goal. Says who? Says the Phillies.
I mean, he hasn't played third, and for like, I mean, just like moving a guy mid-season to a position he doesn't play a lot. Like, how often does that work out?
I don't know. The Yankees went to a World Series with Jazz Chisholm moving to third, so it worked out. Like, and I think Stott's a better defender than Jazz. So I'm saying I think like it's no problem there. I think Bohm at first is fine. If anything, my biggest concern is Harper in the outfield. Yeah, he offered to do. Yeah, he offered to do it. Can he still do it? Does he still have the arm for it? I don't know. Like, he's older now. Does he still got the legs to play in the outfield?
The thing I don't know. Is he going to be worse than anyone else they put out? I mean, like
from a defensive perspective,
he could be.
From a defensive perspective, he could be.
Worst case scenario, it's Castellanos in right field again.
You also have to take into account, though, that the injury, has increased tenfold.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part that worries me as to like how he holds up out there. But I will say, I think the positives outweighed the negatives from just what Luis Ariz is going to bring to this lineup. I mean, holy cow, did this team need a bat like this?
No, I agree they needed a bat because like they were living and dying by home runs, and
Luis Ariz has struck out less times this year than Schwarber, Harper, Turner did all last month.
So yeah, I think he struck out 22 times this season or something.
Yeah, so this guy is going to get on for your bats. I'm interested to see how they construct the lineup because I think you can make an argument for Ariz after Turner because of Turner's speed if Turner gets on, but I think you can make an argument that with the lefty-righty splits that you should go Ariz, Turner, Harper, Schwarber, Harper. It'll be really interesting. I do think the Phillies got better. Maybe I'm a cynic. I still just think it doesn't matter after what the Dodgers did, but hey, I mean, anything could happen. We play the games because we play the games, and you can get hot at any time. This was an overall positive for the Phillies. It's not the move that I thought they should make. I thought they needed an outfielder. I guess they de facto got one by putting Harper out there. I thought they needed significant help bullpen, and I know John wanted.
They got Caleb Killian and what's his face from the Mets. I can't.
Brooks Raley.
Yeah.
Raley was nice.
Really like Raley.
But I mean, both
they didn't get a fifth starter, so I guess Andrew Painter's going to the Wolves.
They needed a fifth starter so bad. I cannot explain. I think I don't know. Like it was like last week. I don't know what the numbers are now, but they are 5-20 this season from the fifth starting position, and up until the Oriole game where Painter pitched recently, they haven't won a game from that fifth.
And there was a lot of
May 18th.
And there was a lot of guys available, by the way.
Yes, and they didn't. They just didn't.
Like there was a lot of veteran starting pitching moved. Tyler Wells got moved. We saw Robbie Ray get moved. We saw Bubic. The Dodgers got him. So like there was dudes.
So many. And then there's also guys that weren't moved. A Michael Wacha, a Seth Lugo, that could have gotten moved.
There were a ton of guys available, and it's not like this was some surprise.
I think the price from the Royals might have been high though. I'm just saying it. A price might have been
bags packed.
I think price might have been too high.
But you can't
because if nobody got them, then the price was pretty high. I'm talking about like Bubic costed one player.
Yeah, I just don't.
It wasn't like a prospect haul. Dustin May got moved. Soriano got moved. Castillo got moved. Now, Castillo's package was pretty big, so I don't think that the Phillies wanted to pay that price. I understand that. I mean, obviously, the Astros wanted an outfielder in Varsho, but Spencer Archetti, I guess, was available, which for the Astros, I don't know if I would have suggested moving starting pitching away, considering they need it desperately. Roster Griffin was available. Obviously, Freddie Peralta, Jose Soriano was available. Clay Holmes was available, who obviously like he can be a starter. And then he honestly was probably the best fit for Philly. Start the fifth game and then move to the bullpen playoffs, but maybe the Mets didn't feel like moving him in division. But I also think with the Brooks Raleigh trade, like we saw that the Mets don't mind. I would have pushed for him to be included if I was Philly.
But it's just the fact that, I mean, they got a bat, right? They got a bat. They got some really pitch up, but you didn't get a starting pitcher, and I think that by far was one of the biggest needs they needed. Because I mean, just the fact, May 18th, they didn't win a game since May 18th in the 5th spot, and they're 5-20 from it. And it's not like it's a surprise. And they've been doing
they're getting killed
bullpen games and stuff. And then you're gonna throw Painter on. It's like they needed another guy. Like at this point, I would have even given up a little bit more because you just can't go. If you're gonna keep phoning in that 5th start and losing games, you got to make the playoffs first. You got to get enough wins to make the playoffs, and you have the Padres and the Pirates who made moves, and the Marlins breathing down their neck in the wild card spot, and it's just and you're going out there and you're only basically running 4 starters, really, with only 3 consistent ones, and because Nola. It's either he's going to get a quality start, which is he's going to give 3 runs up and get a quality start, or he's going to absolutely blow it. And then the 5th one, it's almost a guaranteed loss. It's basically just, they would have been better off keeping Walker.
Well, I think he's a free agent.
So I know, honestly, I'd honestly just
they would have been better off keeping Walker. How much you railed against him early on.
I know, but at this point, it's better than doing bullpen games and wasting the bullpen.
Yeah, they need an innings eater.
Yeah, and Walker was an innings eater. And then you can let Painter just sit in AAA and just work on what he needs to work on.
Yeah, when there's a lockout next season, he can work on it still.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I don't know. I just feel cool. They got the bat. I like the bat. I like Luis Arraez a ton. I'm not a fan of moving all these players when it would have been an easier move from Arraez to first because he's played over 200 games at first. So it's not like he's played at least a season at first base and then just Harper the outfield because that's just way easier than shifting everyone around. So I don't know why they had to make it so confusing.
I thought honestly they were going to trade Stott or Bohm when this trade came through.
I think I always talk about it. I think at the start of the season, I think they wanted to trade Stott and Bohm because I think what they planned on doing at the start of the season, I think they want to sign Bo Bichette to play second, trade Stott away, trade Bohm away, and then have Aiden Miller come up and play third. But I think when Aiden Miller got hurt and then Bo Bichette signed with the Mets, I think they just decided to stay put. But I think they really wanted to move on from them at the start of the season, but just the circumstances stopped them from moving on from them.
Bryson Stott has one of the most electric walk-up songs, though, that you could hear in a stadium. And the Phillies cannot move on from that.
So I think they wanted to, though.
A couple more trades as we wrap this up. San Diego got Robbie Ray. Toronto got Jose Soriano that we just mentioned. Joe Adell goes to Cleveland. The Cubs got Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor. Taylor Ward goes to Seattle. Tampa Bay got Liam Hicks. Foster Griffin to Cleveland. Luke Weaver to the Pirates. Who do we think won this trade deadline if we had to pick one team? And let's not say the Dodgers. If we're removing the Dodgers from consideration, who gets second place then to you?
The Mets. I think the Mets sold all the guys they wanted to sell and got a bunch of decent prospects back for them. I think the Mets' entire season was a failure, which set them up to have what we would deem now as a successful deadline. But at the end of the day, you moved off all the guys that you wanted to move off of, basically. I mean, nobody would take Luis Robert, which predictably, but you set yourself up, again, solid for the future, and at least solid to make more moves going forward.
If I had to pick someone other than the Mets, just to mix it up, I really like the Pirates. I think they did a really good job. So I think they got, their needs there and did really well. And actually, they're actually trying, and I think they put themselves in a really good position with Duvall and Weaver to actually make the playoffs.
They did not put themselves in a good position.
I think it's better than who they have. But with Weaver and stuff, but I think they put themselves in a decent
Weaver was
position.
good.
Yeah,
Weaver was good.
Duvall, not good.
I think it's the Orioles getting what they got for Rutschman, getting what they got for Ward, being able to really flip this script now. They have a minor league system that they can now try to develop. They got pitching. I think the
pitching
Orioles,
was huge for them to get.
They got minor league pitching. They can develop it, especially because these are MLB ready arms. This could be a very quick rebuild for them.
Settle down.
Who lost the deadline?
The entire MLB.
You.
Obviously, jokes aside there. Lost. I don't know if lost is a great word because we just don't know how things are going to turn out. I mean, we talked at length about the Yankees. I think that they had massive opportunity and didn't strike, so they come to mind. I don't know if lost is the right word. I thought the Blue Jays had a really weird deadline, moving off of Gosman but bringing in Soriano. I think I'm going to settle on the Astros, though. They got Varsho, who I do like, but this is a team that swept the Rangers over the weekend. Now it's 2.5 games in first place in the AL West. Had a pretty clear need at starting pitching, and there was a ton of starting pitching available that got moved, and they got none of it. So I would go with the Astros just because I think if we're sitting here today and they were a team that got Gosman and Robbie Ray, we would look at them as legit World Series contenders. And instead, I think we look at them as, maybe they'll win the AL West by default.
I'm kind of with you on an AL West team. I went the Rangers. You make the first big move of deadline week, and then you get swept by the Astros, and now you're asking teams to take all your players, and you're looking to sell. So just from going from the high of being a buyer, getting a big player in Ohapi, to now, wanting to sell anybody and having one of your trade chips actually deny the trade.
Yeah.
To me, they kind of lost, for lack of a better word, the deadline.
That's fair.
I mean, I almost want to say the Phillies because they didn't get starting pitching. And when almost a must-have need. I mean, you can say the Tigers because they kind of wasted that last season with Skubal and I think, giving up on the season now. But I'm going to go with the Marlins because they are a game and a half out of the wild card spot, and their big move was once again trading away one of their best players, Liam Hicks, second on the team in OPS and controllable through 2030 for just a bunch of I get a bunch of prospects, but it's still they're there. I get it, but it's just once again they get a good player, and what do they immediately do? Trade them away every single year without a doubt. It's they don't even want to win.
Now, which trade do we think was the biggest overpay?
I mean, the Rutschman deal, Boston paid a lot for him. So my mind immediately goes there. Again,
fair.
Overpay in the sense of how much it costs to get an in-division catcher when you were competing against two other teams in your division to get him. I think that definitely warranted a big cost. As I go through the rest of these trades, I'm not really seeing. I mean, I think I'll land on Luis Castillo just because I think he's pretty washed. And I know that it wasn't a ton, but I like Nolan Jones, a minor league catcher, a decent relief pitcher. They paid a lot, the White Sox, and I don't really think it's going to get them anywhere.
I'm going Heliot Ramos. I just think the Yankees gave up a ridiculous amount for a player who they didn't need, and it felt they got to get.
I think it's gonna find out I literally think that Lisa Rice was almost a thing because they gave away their number 4 pitching prospect, their number 4 pitching prospect for him, plus the stuff. And I just feel for a 2 month just a 2 month rental on him, I think is a little bit of an overpay considering what the Dodgers had to give up for Skubal. So
now, which trade do we think was the biggest steal?
Oh, man. I mean, you can call it bias. I thought the Garcia deal to the Yankees, I thought they paid virtually nothing. I mean, the biggest asset in there was a relief pitcher.
I think that's fair.
And not even like a great one for a guy who leads the NL in slugging, has 23 homers this year, is going to be defensively their first baseman. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I think in pure talent, it was a steal.
I'm going to go Joe Adell to Cleveland. Cleveland only 3 out. You got a big bat, a great defender. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very under-the-radar move, and they are competing for the division. So I think this, in addition to the Foster Griffin, both very underrated, good moves.
Yep.
I don't even know. Like looking at all the trades here.
I mean, maybe Brooks Raley from the Mets to the Phillies.
Honestly, because that's a really good one. Because I think was it just one player?
Yes.
Yeah, just one player for him, and it hit a really big need for the Phillies. So. And it was in division, and the fact they only had to give up like one player for him, and I don't think it was like the 26th prospect in their farm system. So honestly, huge steal, especially from in division from a rival.
Now, if we had to pick one non-Tarek Skubal trade to have the biggest impact in October, who would we say it is?
I mean, John's not going to like it, but I would say Luis Arraez.
That's what I was going to say too. So,
I mean, yeah. I just when I think about the teams that can compete with the Dodgers, the Phillies still come to mind because they did it last year. And at the end of the day, I debated between Arraez, Rutschman, and Gausman for this spot. But at the end of the day, I think Gausman could have a big game. But I don't think that the Cubs have enough pitching depth to compete with the Dodgers. I think Rutschman could have a big at-bat, but I don't think he's consistent enough at the plate the way Arraez is. And then I think we might get Phillies, Dodgers. And in a shortened, series, a best of 5 and a DS, Zach Wheeler, Christopher Sanchez, Luzardo, back to Sanchez, back to Wheeler. Like that, they have enough pitching, and Arraez is the kind of guy who, bottom of the 8th inning, we need a hit, could get it.
Yeah, and that's one of their biggest problems because I always say the Phillies, they live and die by the home run. When they're not hitting home runs, they're not winning games, and that's the biggest problem the lineup has. It's just they're too much. I feel like it's just too much power, just not enough, contact, and he solves the problem. And one of the biggest problems in the playoffs is the lineup goes cold, and I don't think he's going to go cold.
No.
So, I mean, when you put the ball in play, a lot of stuff happens.
The NL, we know who's going to win the NL, or very likely to. The AL, though, is a lot more wide open. I'm giving this to Freddie Peralta, Mets to Tampa now. I can just imagine him getting into Tampa, going on a bit of a tear, reawakening what he was in his best years in Milwaukee, the reason why the Mets traded for him. He could make some very big starts, whether it's wild card round, divisional round, CS, World Series. They got a bona fide possible ace, a guy who's been an ace on a – Freddie Peralta has been an ace on a very, very good
he just hasn't been one this
team. Year. He hasn't been one this year, but he's been one as recently as last year. So to get a guy like that in, hopefully you can fix whether it's mechanical or mental. This is a very scary move, and I think that could have a very big impact in October.
Yeah, it's a fair one.
But trade deadline's over. August is starting up. 2 more regular season months, then October, then no more baseball.
See you in 2028.
See you in 2028. But we will see how a lot of these trades shake out. Does Arraez do it? Does Rutschman ever play getting at bat with the Red Sox this year? What happens with Ramos? Heliot Ramos. The Yankees sent down Volpe and Dominguez as we record this to make room for Ramos and George Lombard, as Dylan said earlier.
Yep.
A lot of question marks, but this is where the baseball gets fun. This is the stretch. That starts now. So we'll be talking all about that in coming weeks. But for the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast, Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel, John, Pauline, signing off.